If you've been looking to move to downtown San Diego and have been considering the Diega, maybe you've even seen my review of this luxury apartment building, well, I have some breaking news for you. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Eshi and I have lived at the Diega for almost 3 years now, and I also do apartment hunting videos in San Diego. I love helping people find their dream apartment, and this update might make you change your mind about the Diega. It definitely changed mine. Airbnb is moving in. Diega recently sent out an email to all of their residents letting them know that they can put their apartments up on Airbnb. Our lease is coming to an end, and this news definitely made us rethink immediately re-signing that lease. And here's a couple reasons why. Quick story time, but we actually had an illegal Airbnb move across the hallway a couple years ago, and it was kind of a nightmare situation. There were people banging on our door and screaming in the hallways at like 4 a.m., and they would wake us up at night and freak out our cats. This was back before Airbnb was allowed to be in this building, so we're afraid if they are allowed to move in, this type of situation will become less and less rare. And like we found out in this instance, management may not be able to help immediately. There may be multiple Airbnbs on your floor, multiple residents to contact. It'll just take some time to get things sorted, and meanwhile, you'll be staying up at 4 a.m. Another major issue with Airbnb moving in is that the people who stay in those Airbnbs tend to not care as much about the amenities and the facilities as the people who are living in the apartments. If you can just imagine for a second, overcrowded pools, overcrowded hot tubs, people who don't throw away their trash properly, people who don't take care of the facilities, and people who don't stay here long enough to care. The Diega is in a prime location if you want to go out in Gaslamp. It's walking distance away. So can you imagine the pre-games and the parties that will happen in these Airbnbs? And moreover, the noise complaints you will have to make about them? Listen, no one wants to be the Karen that's calling up security 24/7 and making noise complaints, but with Airbnbs that are getting too rowdy, I can just imagine the worst. And I don't even have to use my imagination that much because it happened to us across the hallway and it was really obnoxious. And lastly, if you already live at the Diega, you probably know that we don't have a lot of parking spots. If you're newly moving in, you're probably going to have to get on a wait list to get a reserved spot anyway. And our guest parking spots are very few and far between. You can go through our parking app to try and get a guest spot reserved for overnight, but I have not been successful at that for many, many months because a lot of people apply. Now with Airbnb moving in, I'm assuming that those guests will use the parking spots that are reserved for that apartment, but I can see how it could go badly very quickly. First of all, you know that the guest parking on the first floor is going to be filled all the time. And then also, I can assume that the Airbnb residents will accidentally take up more spots or the wrong spots. Towing will have to get involved, and that will take some time. Meanwhile, you and your car will be out of luck. Now, I promise I am not trying to fearmonger, but I know in general, Airbnbs are not the best for the apartment residents themselves. They just do not have a good track record. And also, Airbnb is not great for housing issues that major downtown cities, especially in California, already have. But that's a story for another video. Now, when we heard this news, we immediately wanted to leave, and funny enough, when we were on our tour of the Lindley, one of the newest apartment buildings that have opened up downtown, link to that apartment tour right here, we actually met multiple people from the Diega who were touring the Lindley specifically because they had heard the Airbnb news and also wanted to leave immediately. So if that tells you anything, I know that there are many residents that are thinking the same way that I am. That might be a blessing in disguise for people who are looking to move here. The Diega might lower their prices even further, so if you don't mind Airbnbs, this might be a golden opportunity for you. But obviously, we were not thrilled with this news, so we really did our fair share of apartment hunting this year to figure out where else we could live. But at the end of the day, we did, begrudgingly, re-sign our lease because the price here could not be beat. Looking at some of the other 2-bedroom layouts at some of the other luxury buildings in downtown, those are going for like $1,000 to $2,000 more a month than our apartment. And if you're curious as to what we actually pay for this apartment, I just did an apartment tour. I'll leave the link right here where I go over our monthly costs and I give you an in-depth tour of this apartment. So since we are re-signing for 12 months, this time next year, we are really hoping and praying that some of those prices for those 2-bedroom layouts come down significantly. And if you're wondering which apartment buildings we specifically looked at and compared prices to, I will be making a top 5 luxury apartment buildings in downtown San Diego video coming up very soon, so click that subscribe button and stay notified. As soon as I heard this Airbnb news, I wanted to share it with you guys because I know that you'll want to know this information when you are looking for your apartment. So if this video was helpful, please don't forget to click that like button, and I will see you guys next time.